John, let's first talk a little bit about your tournament and your camp. Just explain to people a little bit about what that's all about.
Yeah, these last couple days have been pretty eventful. Monday night we had a charity dinner up at Red Ledges Golf Course as a charity dinner to help raise funds for the foundation that I have, Friends for Football, which is a foundation that raises money for underprivileged youth. To sign them up for football leagues, we believe strongly that the things that kids learn in organized football will help them as they move on in life. We feel like football teaches you discipline, hard work, sacrifice, really skills that will help enable them to be successful down the road. And that's why I set it up. And so we had our dinner Monday night. Tuesday we had our Friends for Football Golf Classic, which was sponsored by Makoa. And we had all these guys out here golfing up at Red Ledges yesterday. And all the money from that goes to the foundation. And then these 2 days, today and tomorrow, are the New Skin Next Level Football Camp. And a portion of these proceeds then go back as well to the foundation.
Well, and it's interesting. You don't have to be an elite athlete to benefit from playing football, right?
No, and I shared a story when I was at the dinner about Ray Lewis, and he was an athlete that he didn't have money to play football when he was younger. Well, he turned into an elite athlete, but there's hundreds of kids that go through football when they're young, that don't do football when they're older, but they look back and say, man, those things I learned in football helped me become a successful businessman, helped me become a great community member, helped me influence other kids. And I think it's important for kids to be involved in team activities. A lot of kids at times may not want to be a part of the social stuff, and it's important to get kids in a social atmosphere, in a team environment, because you can learn so much from it.
Let's talk a little bit about your pro career and how things are going with the Ravens, how you feel things are working out for you there.
I feel good. I'm happy to be in Baltimore. They obviously brought Mark Bulger in a couple weeks ago, kind of made him the backup. So what initially this whole offseason I was thinking was going to be an opportunity to be the backup in Baltimore has now changed. So it's kind of at a point now where I just play the preseason out and see what happens. When the preseason's over, I might be a Raven. When the preseason's over, I might be somewhere else. So there's no way to know.
You've been through your own experience in terms of at BYU, battling and through as a freshman and learning kind of even through some hard knocks, and you've had to deal with some of that in the NFL too. Is that when you look at that, you go sometimes, my goodness, could there just be an opportunity open up for me and let me show what I can do?
One thing I've always leaned on my entire career. When I was a sophomore, I was thrown with Chad Lewis, and I was like, man, Chad, this is crazy. I feel like it's just constant adversity. We'll get over one hurdle and then another one smacking us in the face, and I'm like, this is crazy because I'm trying to work my tail off here. Like, I'm doing everything I possibly can to be the best I can, but for whatever reason the situation was one that had a lot of adversity. And I remember, I always think about this. He said, listen, he goes, I promise you down the road when you're playing the NFL, you will look back and be grateful that you battled through adversity to get here. Because in the NFL, there's so much adversity, and you rarely have an opportunity where things just work out. He's like, it's better to go through the road where you battled adversity than the one where things just worked out. And I've always leaned on that. And my time in the NFL, I went to the worst team in the NFL my first year, played as a rookie, a new staff, a new GM, all get brought in. I mean, the worst thing that could happen to a guy after his first year is have a whole new GM and staff come in, because you're really drafted by a GM and a staff, and they believe in you. But when a new one comes in, what belief do they have in you? You're just a guy. And then I go to another team, and now I'm really having to go from the bottom of the totem pole up. But this is what I know. I know, hey, you have to battle adversity. That's one of the things I feel like I'm comfortable playing football, battling adversity, because that's the only way I knew it. So
been there, done that.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Maybe talk a little bit about there are a couple of young guys, inexperienced guys that are battling out for quarterback at BYU right now. You have some advice for somebody going through that experience?
I've had the opportunity to meet both Riley and Jake Heaps, and also James Lark. And I know all those guys are going to be battling. I know it's kind of Riley and Jake Heaps' battle right now between the two of them. I think Riley's going to be a junior. He's played some college football. Jake is a true freshman, so he hasn't played any. I have had the opportunity to sit down and talk to him a little bit about just, hey, it's about making plays. And with Riley, I've had a little bit more time with Riley to talk to him about some stuff, about, use everything you got, because, like his legs, I told him, I said, hey, you're going to be able to do a lot with your legs. I look back at some of the plays when I was a younger quarterback. When you're a young quarterback and you have young players around you, it's going to be impossible to run this system, well-oiled offense. It's just tough because the receivers, they're having to think on the field. You're having to think on the field. Everybody's having to think. I think when I was a senior, what was great was we weren't out there thinking. We were out there playing. And for that group of guys, that was the first time we had the same offense for 2 years. Now, whoever's the quarterback this year is going to have some guys that are young, that are new, and they're going to be thinking on the football field. And a quarterback, when he's young and new, is going to be thinking. So really, plays are going to be made by just playing football, just getting out, scrambling around, making plays. If that makes sense. To me, it makes perfect sense. So, because I've been there. I've been that young quarterback who is thinking on the football field, and I've been on that team where the players are young and we're all thinking together. And you really have to be smart at that time.